Hi, I'm Abbi Crutchfield. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, but I live in New York and have for the past 6 years. I moved to New York in 2005 to pursue stand-up comedy. I was doing open mics in Indianapolis, and I wanted to move someplace else to do more open mics. And then as I got to know more people integrated in the comedy community, I produced my own show, and then got on other book shows and have been trying to work the road. The very first time I did stand-up comedy was for a talent show in college, and then we also, on my campus, had an improv group, so I founded a stand-up comedy club that was supposed to mirror the enthusiasm of that improv group. However, we just ended up having meetings. So I think through that club, I performed twice, then moved back to Indiana and tried out our open mic. And then after doing that for about a year, I saved up and kept talking to people that rolled through the comedy club who did it for a living, and I kept asking, how do I do it for a living? So they told me, go someplace where you can get more stage time. So I moved to New York. I love living in New York. I love stand-up comedy. I've grown a lot since I started, and I continue to have fun. In fact, it took me several years to learn how to have fun on stage. Now that I enjoy it, I plan on continuing. There were people I watched as a kid on Comedy Central or HBO. Some that are not stand-up comedians, like Bette Midler. Whoopi Goldberg had her Broadway show, but then other stand-ups like Ellen DeGeneres and Sinbad had specials that I would watch. And once Comedy Central started airing mashups of old specials into like little 5-minute sound bites or 3-minute joke sound bites, like A-List was one of the shows I used to watch. That was a lot of fun to learn from that. So early names are like Paul Provenza, Barry Sobel, Richard Lewis, but you know, everybody that's still working today. There's stand-up, the art form, and then there's stand-up comedy, the business. And so with the art form, my challenge is to push myself to write more and perform often and to edit frequently so that the material I'm building is stronger and stronger, and so that my growth rate keeps going like this. From the business perspective, and this is just from knowing other comics that are actually pursuing road work, I know that there are a lot of doors that close in your face before you get the ones that are open. And so just building up a good tape, sending out your tape, following up with clubs if they haven't seen that tape, or when you actually do get an opportunity to perform in a club, to make sure you did a great job and follow up and try to get another booked spot there. So just, you know, that's a challenge in and of itself, because a little bit has to do with luck, a lot of it has to do with perseverance and tenacity. I usually have a good response, and then it's up to me to kind of follow up and turn that into more lucrative work down the road. So that's another challenge. File that under challenges is self-motivation to turn something into, like, keep the momentum going. I have, had positive responses that have led to more work and more networking with other comics, which is great. And just sometimes people will see me at a show and then think, well, hey, they want to put on their own show. So working with other producers has been great as well. Time for my fans. Go on, guys. You don't need my autograph right now. I speak many languages, so I understood what they were saying about me. It's all lies. A lot of comedians that are women, myself included, will go to open mics and just be subjected to a lot of material that might be considered misogynist or, you know, dick jokes or heavily male-focused, male perspective focused. And so I know that can be a little grating for a woman over time, and it helps to have more female perspectives and to feel like you're in more of a community when you're doing stand-up. So there's been that challenge, but I haven't actually been told directly to my face, you're not getting this work because you're not funny, because you're a woman. It's more veiled, like, hey, be on my show, the sexy ladies of comedy. And it's always like trying to market looks or sex appeal over actual talent or skill level. And so I consider that a form of a challenge, to learn how to say no to those kind of shows or make my own shows that lift up women in comedy. There are little things, there are little goals I work on with each show. So if I've accomplished that goal, then yes, it feels like actual palpable growth. But there are certain shows where I feel like I make setbacks because I've done something I know I shouldn't be doing. For example, if I'm just supposed to stay focused for that night, and then for some reason I let some distraction pull my attention away, you know, instead of just working on my tight set, airtight set, I've created this loophole in it, or this, you know, air bubble in it, and now I've got to weave my way back into how I wanted to sound, and I'm not as polished or I'm not as focused. There are little things like that happen. But for the most point, it's steady growth, and so I'm happy with it. I don't like to dwell on what I'm not doing right unless it's how do I learn from it. I don't want to dwell on it to tell myself, oh, you're not funny yet. Oh, you've got a long way to go. You're at the bottom of this hill, because you can get in your own way, and that can just keep you from going out and pursuing it. But if you encourage yourself and say, all right, that sucked, don't do that anymore, then you look forward to the next opportunity to not make that mistake. Yeah, I love antagonistic comedy, where, like Don Rickles, who just comes out and wants to insult everybody that's out there and not give anybody a break. That probably kills me. I don't do it naturally, so I don't try to do it on stage. I feel like it makes me sound a little arrogant, and that's not a persona that I've been honing in. This is what you need to know, people. Go to twitter.com at Curly Comedy and follow me so that you can get like a constant barrage of hilarity. Now, it sounds weird at first. It's going to be fun. We're going to be okay. I will most likely follow you back. And then, there's a whole world out there of comedy. It will link to my Facebook. I have a website, curlycomedy.com. I have a blog that has more personal insight, curlycomedy.blogspot.com. I have some Tumblr sites I don't use. Let's not talk about them. And I look forward to making you laugh in person, but I appreciate the opportunity to subconsciously creep into your brain and make you giggle on the daily while you're at work.